Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. Guys, this is a special broadcast today. This is a special broadcast. We're coming to you from the, shall I say, over on the East Coast? From the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. This is Stardate, Captain's Log 7525. Stardate 7525. Captain's Log. Guys, we have a lot of things we want to talk about. This is a special broadcast. We don't normally do broadcasts on Saturday, but this, like I said, is a special event here. I want to talk about flooding over in Kernville, Texas. I want to play this video for you, and then we'll talk more about this, what has happened, okay?
We're learning of more heartbreak and more tragedy with every update that we receive here in Kerrville, Texas. The latest death count stands at 27 people after these catastrophic floods, including 9 children. If you look at this scene, you can get an appreciation and an understanding for the sheer destruction that ripped through this central Texas town. This is not the riverbed behind me. The Guadalupe River, which exploded and left this damage, is about a football field away. It looks like a tornado ripped through here after the river rose as much as 26 to 30 feet in about an hour. But this is not wind, this is water. You see the trees leveled, the bark stripped all the way up to the tree limbs. This is what left a path of destruction and death in Kerrville just about 24 hours ago, and still state officials say as many as 23 to 25 little girls who were attending a summer camp here at a camp called Camp Mystic are still missing. Right now, that is the top priority. Helicopters, drones, dive teams in place trying to find any of those girls who may still be alive. We also know President Trump is announcing that the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is on her way to Texas to support these efforts and assess the damage. In Kerrville, for now, I'm Ryan Chandler. Back to you.
It's unreal, guys. Unreal. Who would have thought that this could happen? Okay? Now, there are a lot of things going on here. A lot of things going on. We'll talk about this in just a second. At least 27 people are dead in Texas because of this flood on the Guadalupe River. And searches continued for missing campers as it goes. Texas Governor Greg Abbott held a news conference earlier this afternoon. He's going to hold another news conference in about 2 hours. But he held a news conference alongside Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security in Kernville, Texas yesterday. The director of a popular Texas summer camp located northwest of San Antonio was killed in the Friday floods. Jane Ragsdale, the longtime director of Heart o' the Hills Camp, did not survive the flooding. The camp was not in session, but Ragsdale was still on site when the flood hit. The Heart of the Hills Camp is located about 2 miles from Camp Mystic, the Dallas Morning News reported this morning. Camp Mystic is still where a search is ongoing for 27 girls who are still missing. We are mourning the loss of a woman who influenced countless lives and was a definition of a strong and powerful camp. The city of San Quinn, Texas, east of San Antonio, announced that they have opened a temporary shelter for those in need during the flooding event. Reports are still coming in, and they're coming in telling us of extraordinary stories of survival. Even as the official death count continues to mount. Now it's at least 24 today. A young woman was dramatically rescued after she was carried 12 miles down the Guadalupe River by raging floodwaters. The woman whose identity has not been released was rescued. Aaron Burgess told the outlet that the rain on Thursday night ran into today and even into, well, it ran all the way into yesterday and today. It was pretty heavy. This woman was woken up by the storm at 3:30 a.m. Friday morning, and waters around her home in the Bumblebee Hills neighborhood in Kernville County started to rise. The shelter is now open at the Utility Operations Center at 3027 North Austin Street in the city of Sanguine. Again, a shelter has been opened at the Utility Operations Center at 3027 North Austin Street in the city of Sanguine. Seguin. Seguin. The San Antonio Catholic Diocese will be hosting a special prayer mass tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. at the Notre Dame Church in Kerrville. The mass will be for people to pray for those who've lost their lives and persons that are still missing. Prayers will be offered for the emergency responders and those who began work of providing for the needs of impacted communities in this area. They may be kept from harm as they seek to bring relief, comfort, and healing to those people. A Kerrville city official said this morning at a press conference that there will be 2 more briefings today. Again, the next briefing will be at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time today. They'll update the people about the flood and rescue efforts that are ongoing. The National Weather Service issued a special flood emergency for River Road along the Guadalupe River between the towns of Statler and Gruen, Grune, in Como County. Again, a flash flood emergency is in effect for River Road along the Guadalupe River between the towns of Sattler, Sattler, and Gruen, Grune, in Comal County. They are urging residents to evacuate immediately. Flash flood emergencies remain in effect for various locations around Central Texas, including Burnett County, Burnet County, Western Williamson County, Northwest Travis County, and the Guadalupe River in Colam County, Colam County, between Sattler and Gruen. That's according to the National Weather Service. Authorities say that more than 1,000 rescuers are on the ground in Texas searching for missing people as the flood and rains continue to fall outside of San Antonio. Flash flood warnings remain in effect. 27 girls from the Camp Mystic remain missing, as authorities have rescued more than 850 people during the operation so far. That's ongoing. City Manager Dalton Rice acknowledged the number of those missing is likely to change throughout the day, saying the 27 missing are children from Mystic Camp. As for the unknown other missing, we do not have an accurate count, and we do not want to begin an estimate at this time. Sheriff Larry Letho said, "I want to tell you and assure you all that we will not stop till every single person is found. We've got the resources we need, and we're here for the long haul." As I said, the numbers will be changing rapidly. A shelter has been set up for the general public who need assistance. Representative Chip Roy, congressman from Texas, said there are 1,000 boots on the ground, with 160 air rescues having taken place already. President Donald Trump got into it as well. President Trump posted this on Truth Social this morning. The Trump administration is working with state and local officials on the ground in Texas in response to the tragic flooding that took place yesterday. Our Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, will be there shortly. Melania and I are praying for all those families impacted by this horrible tragedy. Our brave first responders are here on site doing what they do best. God bless them, God bless the families, and God bless Texas. That's what President Trump had to say last night. Again, there will be a news conference at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which is going to take effect in about 2 hours' time. That's going to happen, guys. As this situation changes, we will update you on the information as we have it. We may cover this news conference live as soon as it starts. There is something else I need to talk to you about that happened last night. Huge event last night in Indianapolis Indiana. As you know, last night was the 4th of July. We expected things to happen, but we did not expect this in Indianapolis. Let me let you hear the police chief tell you the story, and then we'll talk more about it.
My name is Tanya Terry, and I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations for IMPD. As always, this information I'm about to share with you is preliminary and subject to change. Before I get to the incident, let me say that my thoughts are with everyone that was impacted by this incidents of violence out here tonight, including the victims, their families, and the first responders that were managing this chaotic scene and rendering aid. Here's what we know so far. At approximately 1:27 a.m., officers were investigating a disturbance at Washington and Meridian Street. They were notified of another disturbance down the street at Illinois and Washington Street. As officers were approaching that second disturbance, they heard shots fired, and as they arrived on the scene, they encountered several people suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Officers and IEMS medics who were embedded with our officers immediately began rendering aid to the victims that they were encountering.
Should these glasses be illegal in the U.S.?
Called for several additional ambulances. In total, we had 5 victims transported away from the scene to area hospitals for treatment. A 6th victim was pronounced dead on the scene. A 7th victim walked into an area hospital and is in stable condition. 3 of those victims are juveniles and 3 are adults. We do not know the identity or the age of the victim that was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim who died at the hospital was a juvenile. We have also recovered several firearms at the scene. We do not yet know whether those firearms were involved in this incident. Our detectives will work to determine that. And we have multiple people, about 7 people detained for further investigation. We also don't know their involvement at this point in time. The investigation is early. I think that's the very brief facts that we have at this time. At this point, I'll turn it over to Chief Bailey.
Chris Bailey, Chief of Police for the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. I'll just add on a little bit to what she said about our thoughts and prayers for the victims here tonight, their families, and the long road ahead for all of them as we try to uncover exactly what and why this all happened tonight. This kind of violence, whether downtown or any of our neighborhoods, is completely unacceptable and unnecessary. Unnecessary. Thousands of people came downtown tonight, enjoyed the fireworks, and went home. Thousands more chose to come down here and all night cause trouble. I was down here until about 12:30 tonight. I worked with my officers, took the runs with them, dealt with the disturbances, dealt with the utter disrespect for our city, for our laws, and for law enforcement. Hundreds of unsupervised kids down here. I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers. You are. And parents and guardians have got to step up. A kid is dead tonight. And we just don't know the age of the young man down the street, still here, dead. He looks young. It's unacceptable. The police department all night long went from place to place to place, trying to prevent these kind of things. And I gotta be honest, I'm tired of it. You should be tired of it. This is not our job to do this. It is unnecessary. You don't have to act like this. Our officers, half a block away from before this shooting started, dealing with another group of individuals fighting. We made almost, probably, well, we're still tallying them, about 20 arrests tonight. Recovered guns that I know of before this happened from 2 kids. One of them was an assault rifle stuffed in the front of his pants. I'm not sure anymore what it's going to take for some in our community to wake up. I've said it. This is where the kids are. This is where they are on Friday and Saturday nights. If you want to engage them, if you want to help them, you want to prevent some of this violence, this is where they are. Here, they're here. Come down. I invite all of those who think that I'm exaggerating this or that I'm saying just because it's downtown. No, nowhere else in the city is this concentration of people in one small area, less than a half a mile. Come down and see for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can see them being dropped off by their parents, 5 or 6 at a time out of a car. You can see them jump out of Ubers and Lyfts. And you can see them jumping off the buses that they ride down, that they miss and then linger around downtown. Heck, look to your left. You're still going to see some people that probably shouldn't be out here right now lingering. Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, didn't come down here to see the fireworks, shooting fireworks off at our community from the top of parking garages.
Would you feel better about concealed carrying if you had 500?
Unnecessary. Any questions?
Is it going to take other city departments to step up?
No, see, we keep going back to what's the government going to do? What's the city going to do?
Guys, listen to this. It's important. This is vital. What this police chief is saying right now is vital. And I would like you to all pass this on.
City's invested in this. Millions of dollars the city, taxpayers pay for police overtime to staff this 1 square mile area with, there was a couple hundred cops down here between state police and Capitol Police and IMPD and other police department agencies. Yes, we're going to keep doing our job. The city of Indianapolis, government, the police department is going to continue to do our job. We're not going to solve this. Not just by the police. We made 20 arrests tonight.
Bailey, you're a dad.
Yeah.
What would you say to those parents out there?
I don't understand it. I know where my kids are at all time. So maybe that's, maybe I shouldn't be that way. 16-year-old daughter. I cannot imagine letting her roam around down here tonight like she was, like kids were. Unattended, unsupervised, nothing to do. Some of these individuals that were shot could have been very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever. But it just caught up in a crossfire. Merely down here, enjoying ice cream. Or maybe they were down here for the fireworks or wanted to see what's going on in the circle and got caught up in whatever's happening. But look, nothing good happens after midnight. Some of these kids should not have been out here, period. They missed the bus going back. Was some of the stories that we heard. One of our officers prevented 2 young girls from getting into a stranger's car because they missed the bus to go back home. Wait, you have no ability to call your parents? Your parents wouldn't come pick you up if you missed the bus? There is a problem. There is a problem. It's not going to be solved by the police. It's our job to try to keep people safe, and they did it tonight. I watched it with my own eyes. I helped do some of it. They did all the work. They ran toward the gunfire down here as they were working another fight. They're all in. They're all in. So when I hear people say, oh, we're just worried about minor things in downtown Indianapolis. No, minor things turn into big things. The amount of guns that I saw tonight on people roaming around here with nothing else to do. We can't do anything about it. Like, unless you're a kid, there's nothing, unless you're doing something with the gun or doing something illegal, we can't go up and ask you what you're doing with the gun. That turns into bad things, especially when there's fights or when there's alcohol or there's weed induced.
So can you confirm it was one juvenile and then one adult who was dead?
We know for sure that there is one dead kid. The other one, dead individual, we're still. There's been nothing that occurred to make any kind of positive ID on that. I guarantee you, we're gonna share everything over the next day or so. All the arrests, what they were for. We're gonna give you pictures of the guns that we took from these kids, and we'll share more details about what happened here. And this could have very well happened in any neighborhood, but this is where the kids were. And I've told you this is where the kids were. This is where the kids are. I've told everyone this.
Message tonight to the ones who come downtown, because unfortunately this is the second weekend we've had mass situations here downtown with kids. Message to these kids of...
This is not the second weekend. This has been going on for years. Except now, a lot of these, I want to use my words carefully, a lot of these kids have guns. And we know some of the indicators, right? Backpacks on backwards. Some of them are wearing masks and other things where they can easily disguise themselves because there's cameras everywhere. They did it right under a camera tonight. We made those arrests in the Canal shooting and the one at 30 South Meridian Street. Technology helped us do that. We're going to use technology again. We're going to find out who did it, and we're going to hold them accountable. And if I can convince the prosecutor to hold parents accountable, I'm going to do that too. I don't know that I can because there's a set of rules, and why I may see the rules differently than the prosecutor, because the prosecutor has to prosecute them. But I'm going to seek some kind of accountability to parents. There has to be more than just what are the police doing.
There has to be more than just what the police are doing. Remember those words. There has to be more done than what just the police are doing and the government. This police chief mentioned that. We need to remember that. Okay? As he said, he's going to try to hold the parents also accountable. Why? Because these children are juveniles. These children are juveniles. Criminal acts committed by children. Criminal acts committed by children here. Now, I would like you to all pass this message on today. This video needs to go out to millions of people. We as parents must be responsible for what our children do, and we must control our children's activities. Our children should not be out at night without their parents. Our children must be with their parents after certain hours. No juvenile. There is a curfew law in effect across the United States. Unfortunately, there are so many children, so many juveniles running rampant, not just here in Indianapolis, but around this country. This must stop. It can stop if the parents get involved. This can stop if the parents get involved. I promise you that. But I need you to remember that very much in your minds. Please pass it on to other parents. Please pass this video along to everybody you know. This is vital. Now, Blue Dazzlebug from Texas said here in the chat, "Hi, everyone's from San Antonio here. Very sad day." Someone also asked if it was actually Charlene is asking here in the chat, after what we have seen happen in Texas, what we've seen happen here in Texas, what we witnessed in Western North Carolina with the victims of Hurricane Helene. Too many people have died freezing to death there. I agree they have. But that problem has pretty much been solved by President Trump. President Trump went in there with millions of dollars of his own money. He also took money that FEMA had. Yes, FEMA had. FEMA had allocated money for illegal aliens. President Trump stopped that money from going out to hotels in New York City, in Chicago, all over this country. He stopped that money from going to those illegal aliens being housed in very nice, very upright hotels in areas around this country. He stopped that money from going there. He's taken that money and provided housing for the victims of Hurricane Helene in Western North Carolina. Also, something else you need to know is that money has been provided from FEMA that FEMA had been keeping from the public. Yes, President Biden let this happen. President Biden let this happen. It should never have happened. People froze to death. Children froze to death here in North Carolina last winter. That can never be allowed to happen again. Never again. President Trump is making sure it doesn't happen. Okay? What President Biden did, and I'm not so sure it was even Biden. I believe Biden was inept, unable to even control his administration. I believe his administration did whatever they wanted to do. That's my opinion. You don't have to accept my opinion, but I believe that's what happened. But they took money that was allocated for disaster areas. They took money allocated for disaster areas and repurposed it for illegal aliens. That's wrong. That's wrong. What happened in Texas last night is not going to be had in Texas again as what happened in Western North Carolina. This is a different situation entirely. Okay? A weather system moved into central Texas and flooded the Guadalupe River and other sanctuaries and various other towns and cities around Texas. Flooded them, causing widespread damage. If those structures, those homes have been damaged, they will be rebuilt. They will have adequate measure to make sure people are housed correctly in Texas. Governor Abbott's been a great governor. President Trump has been a great president. Okay? He's going to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen again. As the sheriff in Comal County and other counties in Texas said, they are going to provide for their people. They're going to find the victims of the flooding that happened in Texas. Okay? It's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. I don't even think it's going to ever happen. Okay? Ever again. Anyway, Wilson's here in the chat saying Marion County, Indiana has been number one on the police scanner for 5 years. Not surprising. What's San Diego doing? The same darn thing as what's happening in Indianapolis. Children, illegal aliens, and the Democrat Communist Party running all through Southern California, ranting and raving, causing problems, causing riots on the street, and now things are finally being taken care of. People are being arrested. People are being arrested. Okay? I don't think what happened in the last 4 years is ever going to happen again. President Trump is on top of it. Our Secretary of Homeland Security is on top of it. Our border czar is on top of it. Yes, the Communist Party of America was protesting down in southern Florida in the Everglades the other day as President Trump went down there and officially opened Everglades Alcatraz. Everglades Alcatraz, what's that? It's an abandoned airport in the Everglades. And President Trump is putting temporary jail facilities in the Everglades, putting great big huge 10-foot fences atop by razor wire and guard towers. If those people try to escape from there, they'll escape through the fences and go out into alligator-infested Everglades that also has boa constrictors and other snakes ready to eat them. It's going to be one of the most dangerous areas to escape from, just like Alcatraz was in San Francisco Bay. But those people will only be there for a short time until they are deported. It's just a holding facility to deport those illegal immigrants, those people that should never cross, those people that should never have crossed. Okay, illegals. And in fact, let me tell you a short story here about that. 20 people were arrested within the last 48 hours that were Iranian nationals, illegal Iranian nationals with no identity on them. Why? Because they crossed over at our southern border in either Texas, Arizona, or California, or even New Mexico. They crossed illegally. They got into our country. One of those illegals from Iran was a member of the Iranian Guard. The Iranian Guard, an official with the Iranian Guard. One of the world's renowned bad militaries. Horrible military people. But he was in our country illegally. 20 of his associates were also here. They're being deported back to where they came from. Right now, during the past month, only 20 people have gotten away from our Homeland Security officials at the border. In the last month, only 20. That's a trickle to compare to thousands of people who were running rampant across our border before January 20th. It's not going to happen again. It's never going to happen again. When I was a federal police officer in San Diego, we had a handle on it. Pretty much had a handle on it. Yes, there were gotaways. There were people that were coming across the border and getting caught as well. One of my old buddies that I used to work with went to work for Border Patrol after he left my department. When he left my department, he went to work for Border Patrol at the border, and he was catching people. He was actually catching people. Charlene is here in the chat making another statement here saying boas and mosquitoes, poisonous snakes all over the place. Yes, poisonous snakes and alligators. So if you want to go out into the Everglades swamp, do so, but you'll perish there. Your run will be short-lived and it won't be fun. Okay? Go for it. Anybody listening to this program, if you want to go out into the Everglades, do it. But you'll get caught. You'll get caught. And you may not survive it. Okay? Blue Dazzlebug is here from Texas again in our chat saying, sadly, a lot of the victims were on the river in RV parks for the 4th. Whole families washed away screaming in their RVs. I can understand that. I totally get that. I'm so very sorry for them. Again, the sheriff was there, the Texas Governor Abbott, and Chrissy Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, is there saying they're going to recover everybody. They're not going to leave without recovering everybody. Unreal. Unreal. Now, hopefully, what has happened in Indianapolis and other places around this country last night won't happen again. Now, I want to play a little bit for you about something that happened here in North Carolina last night. A concert. Before the concert, there was a huge RV and car show, and during the concert, we heard a commotion, and Valdese police here in North Carolina caught the person causing commotion, and they arrested him. He yelled out, and he yelled some obscenities, and he was caught by the Valdese Police Department here in North Carolina. I want to show you just briefly about 45 seconds from this concert from what was it called? It was called Too Far Malone or something like that. Here's the concert here. Let me play a little bit for you. They played a lot of cover songs from various artists in our history. Notice the people dancing here? There are about 150 people dancing in front of the concert venue here. Most of them are line dancing. There are also couples dancing here as well. It was a lot of fun. Now, the reason I did not go on the air last night is because I was with my wife here at that concert and watching the car show and participating with fireworks afterwards. That was a concert last night. That went on until 10 p.m. last night. We finally left after the fireworks were over at 10 p.m. and the concert was still going on. It was a great concert. Okay? Now, the fireworks. The fireworks went on for 45 minutes. The firework display was fantastic. Here's the ending of it. That was the end of it, guys. It was a great evening last night. We were there from about 4 p.m. last night until 10 p.m. and took us an hour to get home. It's only a 15-minute drive from Valdese, but it took us an hour to get home. Imagine the traffic there. Unreal. But guys, what happened here in Kerrville, Texas should never have happened. It should never have happened. It did. That storm that went through central Texas should not have done what it did. It stalled out. It was a slow-moving storm, and then it stalled out, and it rained and rained and rained. The rivers and streams flooded like you saw, and all of a sudden there was a big problem. Now, there's some other things that are going on. Now, a lot of people are blaming Elon Musk and Doge, okay? A lot of people are blaming Elon Musk and Doge, but I don't think it's necessarily their issue, okay? Allegedly, Doge told NOAA, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, to shut off satellites that were unnecessary. Well, guess what? They shut them down. But I don't think it was Doge that did it. I don't think it was Doge that did it at all. But our satellites were shut down by NOAA, okay? The forecast satellites were shut off. The GOES-E satellites, GOES-E satellites in space, shut them down. Okay? So allegedly, forecasters could not get the information they needed to forecast that storm that came into central Texas yesterday. I think those satellites will soon be turned on. Wilson says blame NOAA. I agree. But I do not think it was President Trump. I do not believe it was Doge at all. I believe it was NOAA. Okay? But that should never have happened. I do not think it's going to happen again. Now, we are going to have more storms. We are definitely going to have more storms. There is a storm off the East Coast right now. There is a huge storm off the East Coast right now. Let me try to find the website here. I just did. I'm going to show it to you in just a second here. I want to show you that that website because it shows a storm coming into Georgia and South Carolina and into North Carolina by sometime tomorrow. Okay. I want to show you what's going on here. Yes, we will be talking about this more as more information becomes available. There's a storm right there. Okay. Right now, it's a low pressure system. It's a small low pressure disturbance. That's all it is. But I'm being told right now that this storm is going to get larger. The winds in the storm are going to pick up. No, it's not going to be hurricane velocity, but it will be a tropical storm. Right now, it's just a tropical depression, but by tomorrow, the storm will turn into a tropical storm when it makes landfall. Let me increase the size of this so you can see what I'm talking about. Look where it's coming in. Coming into northeastern Georgia and into South Carolina, Charlotte area, and it will go into North Carolina as well. Charleston, South Carolina, into Charlotte, North Carolina by tomorrow, up into Lafayette where Rebecca is here in North Carolina and Renee is here in Shelby. Okay? Yes, we're going to see it, but I don't think it will cause that big, huge problem that we've seen over in Texas. But things happen. Things happen. But this tropical depression is coming ashore as we speak. Right now, it's just offshore, but it's coming ashore as we speak. Now, what's going to happen? Okay, when it comes ashore, there will be rain, heavy rain. Most storm systems can cover this. Most storm systems in various towns and cities and counties can handle this. This is only a tropical depression, a tropical storm. Okay, I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen in Texas. I've seen it happen in New Mexico, Arizona, and San Diego, California. Okay, they can handle it. Yes, there may be some minor flooding, but I don't think we're going to lose people as a result of it. We will be monitoring the storm as it comes ashore, and we'll keep you apprised of it as well. Okay? Does anybody have any questions for me about anything we talked about? Rebecca's calling it Trouble Storm Chanta, C-H-A-N-T-A. Don Patoga says something that's important that has to do with everything that happened law enforcement-wise across this nation during the last several weeks, even last night. Don says, blame, blame, blame. Do not take responsibility for nothing. Ignore the solution, of course, blame someone else. That's what has happened in Indianapolis, Indiana, all over Indiana, all over North Carolina, all over Texas, all over this country, in Los Angeles as well. Blame, blame, blame. That's what the left wants to do, blame it on somebody else. As I said in the beginning of this program, we need to start taking responsibility, and we as parents need to take responsibility for our own children. What happened in Indianapolis last night with 20 arrests from children carrying weapons in Indianapolis last night. 2 people got killed. Other people also injured by gunfire. Should never happen. Should never happen. Why are children, minors, on the streets of a major city after hours? After curfew? Should never happen. Getting off buses, out of Ubers, with parents dropping them off, that should never happen. Parents, don't drop your children off anywhere after dark, especially when everything's closed. Don't do it. Bars might still be open. Your children do not believe or do not belong in bars at all. Take responsibility, guys. Take responsibility and step up to the plate. And in some locations, in some government areas, some cities and counties, you will go to jail yourselves because you're not taking responsibility for your families, for your children. That's a fact. That's a fact. Any questions? Charlene's saying hurricane pick up speed over water. Yes, they do. And yes, it is too early to see how exactly what's going to happen once Shanta hits land tomorrow. But it's not going to be a hurricane, I guarantee you that. It could be a tropical storm or a tropical disturbance, but it will not be a hurricane. Okay? Rebecca says Chantel. I'm sorry, I called it Chantel. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Now, guys, if anything else happens today or tomorrow, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Tomorrow at noon, about 12:30 noon tomorrow, we'll be on the air for a Sunday school class we call Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. We do this every Sunday. I urge everyone to be part of that Sunday school class. Even I have things to learn. And I learn more than anybody else that even is part of the class. So please help me. Please be part of the class tomorrow. We'd appreciate it. Wilson's saying he's listening to Marion Police Channel right now. They're always busy. Yes, they are. San Diego's always busy. Occasionally, I will listen to the San Diego Police Channels or Los Angeles even because I used to work there. Okay? My fellow compatriots, people that I used to work with, still work there. God bless them all. God bless our cities and towns, our counties, and our states. God bless our first responders. God bless them. God be with them and protect them and their families. There are going to be 2 firefighters laid to rest this weekend up in northern Idaho. God bless their families. God bless their departments as well. Guys, I love each and every one of you. That's why I'm here on the air to talk to you tonight. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to help support this channel, please give us a thumbs up before you leave tonight. Also, if you want to help support this channel, we have our Venmo and PayPal addresses scrolling across the bottom of the screen tonight. Also, our email address is also at the bottom of the screen, and also our mailing address as well. Our email address is rltnspdema@gmail.com. Our mailing address is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. 28655. If you want to send us a donation or even a package to us, we'd appreciate that. Very much so. Also, if you want to send us a donation, make sure it's in an envelope covered by a letter telling us how you are preparing for emergencies and disasters where you're at. Stick that donation in there and cover it with a letter. Also, you can do that with a card. Carol and I love to get cards. Please send us a card as well. In that, you can slip a donation as well. We'd appreciate that very much. It's been done in the past. Lately, we've had no cards or letters at all, which is deeply disappointing. My buddy Don Patoka just put our address here up in the chat. We appreciate that very much. Thanks, Don. God bless our mods. Guys, we couldn't do this show without you. We love you all very much. I hope you have a good day and a better tomorrow. Like I said, join us tomorrow afternoon about 12:30 p.m. for Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, our weekly Sunday school class. I hope you have a good day. Please be safe tonight. And most of all, keep praying for victims of the flooding in Texas and the people here in our own nation and nations around the world. Everybody needs help. God be with you until we meet again. We'll talk.